what is your reaction to what we've seen today in Minneapolis?
Well, I'm outraged, and I'm heartbroken for this woman. I'm heartbroken for her family. I'm heartbroken for the community, because this is a realization of our worst fears, of exactly the thing that we hoped would never have to happen when these initial decisions about how we're mobilizing federal troops actually started happening. And, you know, this is not what the people want, where we are now spending billions of dollars to mobilize our federal forces to now go after children and farm workers and people without any form of due process. And so I'm outraged by the video that I saw. You know, I know there is going to be a further investigation, and I stand with every other American and call for a thorough investigation as to what happened and to ensure that real justice is understood inside this moment.
We heard Democratic officials in Minnesota, especially the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, expressing frustration about what it's been like to be a local official dealing with the Department of Homeland Security and ICE and other agencies in the Trump administration. Here's Mayor Frey. Take a listen.
They are not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people.
What has it been like for you and the people that work in Maryland and Baltimore to deal with the federal agents under Trump?
Well, the mayor is correct in the fact that there is not a seriousness in the way these policies are being done, because also the way these policies are supposed to be administered is actually with us, not to us. And we are seeing policies that are being done to us as local leaders. And I take the issue of immigration very seriously and very personally. The idea and the fact that we need immigration reform, you know, and I know that and the people of my state know that public safety is my #1 priority. And I also believe in following the Constitution as well in order to achieve real results. The challenge that we've seen from ICE and what we've seen from so many of these federal agents is that a focus on true public safety and a focus on following the Constitution does not seem to be their priorities. And so the frustration that the mayor articulated is one that is shared by many local and state leaders all across the United States of America right now.
On the subject of crime, which is obviously what the president and his administration say when it comes to why they're doing these immigration raids, the city of Baltimore just hit a positive milestone, recording 133 homicides in 2025. That's the lowest number of homicides in nearly 50 years. 2025 was also the third consecutive year that Baltimore saw homicides fall by double digits. The mayor of Baltimore, we've had him on the show several times, he's crediting his violence reduction program, which narrows law enforcement's focus to high-risk individuals instead of large swaths of Baltimore. Do you agree? Are there other factors at play here? What's your take?
We've been incredibly encouraged by the results that we've seen. And, you know we still have more work to do, but the reality is what we're doing now is working. You know, the year before I became the governor in 2022, Baltimore was averaging almost a homicide a day. And when we came on board, we decided to do something really unique, which is actually work together. Work together with the mayor, work together with local law enforcement, work together with our state's attorney. We made Maryland one of the only states in the country that actually helps to fund the U.S. attorney out of balance sheet. And what we have now seen is that violent crime in the state of Maryland has fallen faster than anywhere in the United States of America over these past 3 years. And yes, in Baltimore City, for example, you know, the last time the homicide rate was this low, I wasn't born yet. And so we put a real focus on funding local law enforcement, funding technology, and using technology to make sure we're actually capturing those who are the perpetrators of violent crime, particularly violent crime with guns. But also we're working with our community groups. We're working with community violence interrupters. We're working with the mayor. We're working with everybody. And I think we're seeing here in Maryland that partnership produces progress in this fight to address public safety.
One of the connected challenges when it comes to the crime rate in Baltimore and Maryland in general is education and problems with the public education system. You recently announced that the teacher vacancy rate in Maryland has dropped by more than 50% since the 2022-2023 school year. And this has led, you believe, to an uptick in reading scores and math scores in nearly every single grade level. Have any other governors or anyone else throughout the country reached out to learn more about how you've been able to do this, how you've been able to keep good teachers in the schools?
Well, we've been really proud of the results that we've seen, where Maryland's having amongst the fastest rises in teachers and people who are coming into the profession. And I currently serve as the vice chair of the National Governors Association. So I work with both Democratic and Republican governors, and we are sharing a lot of our best practices. But one of the things we're also really proud of is the focus that we put on young men and boys, and actually getting more males and more males of color into the classroom. I think that when you look at the jumps that we've seen of people entering into the classroom, the fact that we've had a deliberate and intentional focus on recruitment of when it comes to getting more male teachers, more teachers of color, that we've now seen that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance has now fired more federal workers in Maryland than any state in this entire country in the past 11 months that they've been there. But what we've done is we've been very intentional about recruiting our federal workers to come into our classrooms as well and to come be teachers. It's called our Feds to Eds initiative, which has also been a significant contributor to the amount of educators that we now have entering into the classroom. So we know we still have more work to do, but if education is something that is going to be the backbone of any future growth that we hope for, we're very encouraged about the results we're now seeing inside the state of Maryland.
All right, the governor of Maryland, Democrat Wes Moore, thank you.